3 views do not follow 5 views. Tang San Dang Please Airborne Chapters 45.80, Justice is not something that comes up in the mouth, but rather a genuine concern for the mainland. Imperialism, aristocratic justice, and the rules of the divine realm prevent the mainland from developing, the people from turning over, overthrowing them, and providing a happy life for the mainland's creatures, so that the mainland does not suffer any further harm. Justice. The male protagonist stands in the martial soul hall. Xianren Shuiguyu Na early guidance to Tang San, later abuse of Tang San, abuse of Shrek, Tang Hao. Yu Xiaojiang was miserable throughout the journey. Keywords of the novel. Man in Douluo, abandoned by Tang Hao at the beginning without a pop-up window. Man in Douluo, abandoned by Tang Hao at the beginning. Download the full text of the text, Man in Douluo, abandoned by Tang Hao at the beginning. Latest chapter reading. Chapter 1. Captured Martial Soul Hall. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. The source has no content or has errors. Chapter 2. Adoptive Mother Bibi Dong, named Bibi Han. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Chapter 2 Adoptive Mother Bibi Dong, named Bibi Han in a secret room of the Martial Soul Hall, a woman is practicing. Her appearance is stunning, with fair skin and a tall and plump figure. However, her body is covered by an evil green aura, and her perfect appearance is somewhat ferocious. After a period of time, after completing her cultivation, she slowly opened her eyes and took a light breath, saying, I have finally digested it. The first exam of the Rakshasa god is also over. When I add another soul ring, I can break through the title Douluo. Xiandao Lu, you think if you let me go, I will be grateful to you, wrong. When that beast imprisoned me and gave birth to Xiaoxue, your fate was already predetermined. Sooner or later, I will kill you and completely destroy the foundation of your angel tribe. The speaker is Bibi Dong, the contemporary saint of the Martial Soul Hall. Her eyes are bloodshot, like ghosts from hell, and her tone is filled with endless killing intent. After walking out of the secret room, her face remained calm, as if nothing had happened. She called for a cardinal to ask what had happened recently. Report to Her Highness the Holy Maiden that the pursuit of Tang Hao by the great sacrifice failed, and the Haotian sect went into seclusion. The great sacrifice also brought back a child, which seems to belong to Tang Hao. Upon hearing these words, Bibi Dong sneered in his heart. Tang Hao, who had just broken through the title Douluo, you couldn't even kill him with half a god. Is it really Tang Hao who is rebellious, or are you deliberately letting go? But Tang Hao's children are interesting. Returning to this side, the baby looked at the ceiling with empty eyes, living the days of crying when hungry and drinking to sleep. After a while, a woman dressed in a luxurious black robe adorned with gold patterns and wearing a 9-curved purple gold crown was walking towards the papal palace. She was Bibi Dong, who had just ascended the throne, but her mood seemed to be not very good at this moment. Damn it, Kiendo Oliu, that old immortal, really doesn't have a good heart. Throughout the ages, the Pope could have mobilized all the elders except for the temple of worship, but only the Chrysanthemum Ghost and Douluo were granted titles here. I can't even borrow someone to obtain the 9th soul ring. At this moment, Bibi Dong suddenly heard the crying of the baby. She looked at the room next to her and pushed the door open, walking in, only to see a baby crying loudly. Baby. Perhaps this is Tang Hao's son. Then a woman with a milky scent walked in, who was the nurse breastfeeding the baby. After seeing Bibi Dong's figure, he quickly knelt down and respectfully said, "See below the Pope's crown. Get up now." "Thank you, Pope. May I ask you, is this baby brought back by the great worship?" "I am not sure about this matter, but an adult has asked me to be a wet nurse for a baby." Bibi Dong nodded and said, "Go do what you need to do." Watching the wet nurse carefully pick up the baby and feed it, Bibi Dong's eyes were dim and his expression was extremely complicated. After a while, he left. In the evening, Bibi Dong walked towards her dormitory after finishing her tasks. She saw the room again and couldn't help but walk in. Bibi Dong already knows the identity of the baby and is indeed Tang Hao's son. At this moment, the baby still stared blankly at the ceiling, thinking about what to do in the future, whether to be trained by the martial soul hall as a tool that only knows how to kill, or to resist and be killed. Although Tang Hao abandoned him, he did not hate him because he was very clear that Tang Hao did not intentionally abandon him. He heard someone coming and his lifeless eyes met Bibi Dong, who came in. Bibi Dong was somewhat touched, and the baby's experience and gaze made her empathize. His mother died, his father abandoned him, and he had no father or mother. He once believed that the most respected teacher was a beast. Bibi Dong didn't consider why the baby had that kind of gaze and came to him, gently rubbing his face with his hands. And when the baby saw Bibi Dong, he knew his identity because the words of the wet nurse told him in the morning. Feeling Bibi Dong's actions towards him, he smiled at Bibi Dong because Bibi Dong was considered his benefactor and helped him avenge his mother's death. Although she is the Pope of the Martial Soul Hall, it is not a disaster for her family. Chinese education has deeply penetrated my heart, and the person who killed his mother, except for a severely injured Douluo, has all died. Ordinary people can make babies laugh at him because of this, let alone she is a benefactor. It was precisely because of this smile that the baby's position in Bibi Dong's heart happened to change. At this moment, Bibi Dong had no disciples, no friends, and his daughter was not by his side, filled with hatred in his heart. This smile seemed like a ray of sunshine shining on Bibi Dong's heart, which was about to be completely frozen. After the Chamber of Secrets incident, Bibi Dong, who no longer had an expression on his face, smiled, which made the entire room much brighter. Gradually, Bibi Dong began to tease him, and later even coaxed him to sleep. He was already a child and didn't have that much energy. Despite being unfamiliar with Bibi Dong's techniques, he still fell asleep. Before parting, Bibi Dong looked at the sleeping baby with a mother-like kindness on his face. "It's really cute, every baby is so cute." Then his tone changed and he said, "Schwer, should you be letting go of your pride and becoming a maid just to gain my approval? But I really don't know how to face you." Bibi looked painful and lowered his head, shedding tears of sadness. I glanced at the baby again and then left. After that, Bibi Dong often came to see him and teased him. After a few months of weaning, Bibi Dong took him directly to her dormitory, gave him toys, and fed him food. "Little one, have you been obedient? I brought you a new toy again." Bibi Dong now has a smile on his face, appearing much more sunny. "I can't keep calling you little guy, what's good to call you?" "Tang." "No, why did I give you the surname Tang? You were raised by me and should have the same surname as me, snow, ice, snow, cold snow, Bibi Dong chuckled and said, "From today on, I'll call you Bibi Han, Han Air, Xiao Han, okay?" The baby smiled and seemed to think the name was good. As for what Tang Hao had called him before, he had long forgotten. Two words came out of my mouth, Mom. Bibi Dong's whole body suddenly shook, his hands raised him, and his voice revealed a desire to say, "Call again." A baby has no reluctance at all, and the woman who raised him should naturally say, "Mom." Okay, I have children now, I'm no longer alone." From then on, a baby named Bibi Han was born, and his mother Bibi Dong taught Bibi Han how to recognize characters, read books, and accompanied him throughout his childhood. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. The Origin and Responsibilities of the Martial Soul Palace. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. The Origin and Responsibilities of the Martial Soul Palace. In a small room of the Martial Soul Hall, there is a little boy with short blue hair, a somewhat ordinary appearance, and fair and tender skin. He is almost 1.2 meters tall and exercising, doing push-ups. 97.98.99.100 Honor, it's time to eat. A kind voice came in. "Oh, here we go. Run into the bathroom, simply wipe it with a dry towel, change clothes, and walk towards the dining area. Mother Bibi Dong was waiting for him to eat, and Bibi Han sat beside her with a smile. Bibi Dong touched his hair and said, "I went to exercise again." Of course, the book says that the Soul Master died from exploding due to his physical strength being unable to withstand the pressure of soul rings. This indicates that the stronger the body, the longer it can absorb soul rings. Therefore, I want to continuously improve my body, achieving an amazing configuration of 2 purple rings and 4 black rings, and let others know how excellent my mother's son is, bringing glory to her. Bibi Han said with a firm expression. "Good child, Mom believes in you. Let's eat it, it's all your favorite food." Looking at the table in front of the table, Bibi Han swallowed his saliva and picked up his chopsticks. "The meal is ready," he said. Bibi Han is able to do so many push-ups at this age, and these delicacies play a significant role. "Mom, can you give me the token on the top floor of the library?" "Why?" Bibi Dong didn't want Bibi Han to go to the top because there was something she disliked. "Because I've almost finished looking at other places, there's only the top floor left." "Mom, will you let me go?" Bibi Dong thought for a moment and still gave the token to Bibi Han. "Thank you, Mom. Let's eat." Exercising in the morning and reading in the afternoon are basically like this on a cold day. And the reason why he was able to read so many books is because when he came to this world, he actually had the ability to never forget. Bibi Dong was shocked upon hearing this, as it is well known that the better the talent, the stronger the ability to learn and the stronger the memory. However, even Bibi Dong herself could not forget this ability at a glance. There was only one genius in her cognitive range who could achieve this. Watching Bibi Han leave, Bibi Dong's face showed a strong expression of concern and he murmured, "Xiao Han, if you really see that guy there, you can only rely on yourself. If your talent is really excellent, Mom's current strength cannot protect you." After 6 flights of stairs, Bibi Han arrived at the top 7th floor. The library has 7 levels, each with corresponding valuable books. The first level is accessible to anyone from the Martial Soul City, and those are the most basic. The remaining levels require corresponding permissions. On the 7th floor, non-popes and worshippers are not allowed to enter. Originally, the Holy Child and the Elder Temple could also enter, but for some reason, the Holy Child and the Elder cannot enter, and elders of the same level as the Holy Child and the Elder cannot enter unless there is a special token. Arriving at the entrance of the 7th floor, there are 2 Soul Douluo powerhouses guarding. Just one door, guarded by Soul Douluo, shows the level of importance that the Martial Soul Hall places on it. You should know that the knights guarding the palace of the Pope are also the Soul King. A cold voice spewed out from their mouths without emotion, in 2 simple words, "Token." Bibi Han extended his hand and the token appeared. Let the 2 of them make way. Entering the 7th floor, in a small house, Bibi Han felt heavy at first. There are no heavenly and earthly treasures or soul bones here, but for the Martial Soul Hall, there are celestial and earthly treasures here, and soul bones are incomparable items, which are historical records. There aren't many books inside, but those books all have obvious traces of time. There is a huge picture on the front, which occupies a quarter of the entire cabin. Its name is Angel Town Evil Map. Above is an angel with 6 wings on her back and an incredibly beautiful appearance. She looks like a Valkyrie and holds a sword, suppressing the ugly, bloodthirsty and cruel soul master below. Bibi Han brought a book to read, which was a simple and ancient book with the words "History of the Martial Soul Hall" written on it. The Martial Soul Hall was established on the year, month, and day, and it has been calculated for thousands of years. 10,000 years ago, evil soul masters ravaged the mainland, causing great harm to the people. At this moment, a woman with 6 wings on her back appeared. Her eyes were filled with pity for the world, and the divine aura of light on her body made the evil soul masters extremely afraid. Her strength was strong, with 1 sword per person sweeping through countless evil soul masters, and finally, she founded the Martial Soul Hall. Heroes from all walks of life gather together to defeat the evil soul masters and quell their rebellion. When she killed the elder evil soul master, a powerful and terrifying 99-level extreme Douluo, everyone on the mainland revered the angel god and achieved the divine position by breaking through the 100-level mark. Leave the martial soul hall to continue suppressing the evil soul master and defending peace. Closing this book, Bibi Han was speechless. Thinking that the history of the martial soul palace even surpassed that of the two empires, it is no wonder that some have said that the two empires have been downplaying the influence of gods and maintaining the view of imperial supremacy. Having read the original work, I understand how disgusting the aristocrats of the two empires are. Bibi Han sneered and said, "Emperor power is paramount. In the future, I will let you know what true supremacy is. Children, how are you reading books?" A kind voice appeared, and Bibi Han only noticed an elderly man around him, about 60 years old, dressed in a simple grey robe with an extremely kind expression on his face. "Well, I've gained a lot," Bibi Han replied. Bibi Han didn't recognize the old man at all because his mother didn't tell him the conditions to enter here, so he thought his identity was sufficient. The old man seemed interested and asked, "What have you gained?" Bibi Han pondered and talked to the old man. The old man nodded and said, "Yes, there are indeed evil soul masters in the world, and they cannot be killed completely because of their desire for power and the distortion of their souls that makes them fall." "Grandpa, may I ask, if a soul master is constantly bullied, will he become an evil soul master?" asked Bibi Han. The old man said, "It is possible that if bullying distorts their minds, leads them astray in the pursuit of power, they will become evil soul masters." Bibi Han has never seen Do-Er, but he has heard some people say it. The Do-Er evil soul master is rampant, and the people are struggling to make a living. The strongest force, Shrek, who replaces the martial soul hall, lifts his arm and calls out dozens of Douluo who have been conferred titles to work on the sun and moon continent in this world, but cannot defeat the evil soul master. Haotian's sect is high and indifferent to the world, willing to send people to protect Tang Wudong, unwilling to contribute to the 100 clans of the continent, and the people are not as good as dogs in the eyes of the nobility. Bibi Han narrowed his eyes and said, "I understand. This sentence is a pun." Afterwards, the two of them continued to chat until dusk. "It's almost time for dinner, Grandpa. I'll leave first." The old man smiled and watched as Bibi Han left, then disappeared. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Martial Soul Awakening. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. Martial Soul Awakening. On the way to dinner, Bibi Han thought a lot. He would not betray his mother Bibi Dong, nor let his mother destroy the martial soul hall in the future. Although the martial soul hall also has darkness, and its existence is a thorn in the flesh for the aristocrats in the mainland who wish to be immediately eradicated, it is a protective shield for the people to avoid being violated by soul masters. Just as recently, the demon king Zhao Wuji dared not harm civilians and hid because of the pursuit of the martial soul hall. Such examples are everywhere. Guarding the soul-hunting forest, preventing soul beasts from causing trouble, suppressing evil soul masters to make them like rats in the sewer, and signing contracts with the king of slaughter to manage the capital of slaughter, and so on. Bibi Han sighed and thought, we still need strength. Only with strength can we achieve these goals, and with strength can we protect the martial soul hall in the future. Tang San, my only brother, I don't care whether you reincarnate or seize it. Just because you have taken good care of Tang Hao for 3 or 4 years, I will definitely admit you. I don't want to go to war with you. A few days later, Awakening Hall. Bibi Dong is holding Bibi Han's hand and coming here. See below the Pope's crown. The people of the Awakening Hall all knelt on one knee. Flat. Thank you, Pope. Honor, it's time for your martial soul awakening. Mom. Bibi Dong's eyes were extremely serious as he said, becoming a soul master is a hurdle, and the amount of innate soul power also represents how far your future path is. No matter whether your talent is high or low, you are my son. With the lifespan she possesses, even if Xiao Han lacks soul power, she can ensure that he has no worries about food and clothing and is not bullied for a lifetime. I believe I can awaken a good martial soul, said Bibi Han. Then Bibi Han walked fearlessly towards the hexagonal array arranged with stones, and glanced at his mother's encouraging and hopeful eyes. The awakened person is a soul emperor, and the martial soul palace is a big city. It is not known how many people awaken every year, so this level is normal. The son of the Pope, the soul emperor dared not recklessly activate his soul power. Bibi Han's whole body is enveloped in a light golden light, forming a light shield. He seemed to have entered a warm world, suddenly feeling two things struggling to come out of his body. Bibi Han's right hand has been raised, but no martial soul appears. The Soul Emperor and Soul Master looked at the Pope with some trepidation. Bibi Dong was also somewhat worried and said, "Increase the output of soul power." The Soul Emperor followed suit. Finally, Bibi Han felt the thin film break open, lifting both hands. A small hammer with black bumps and a blue-silver grass that could be seen everywhere appeared. Twin martial souls. Everyone shouted together, then calmed down again, because those two martial souls had little power. As is well known, the stronger the martial soul, the greater its power. The higher the innate soul power of the Haotian hammer, the stronger its domineering aura will be. The Seven Treasures Glass Pagoda is judged based on the brightness of the seven colors of light that appear, and Bibi Han's two martial souls have no power at all. Is it a waste martial soul, a twin waste martial soul? Everyone thought of this result. Only two people didn't think so. One was Bibi Dong, who could feel that the two martial souls were extraordinary, and the other was the awakened Soul Emperor Soul Master. His face kept turning white, and he felt his soul power constantly being sucked away, and soon he was powerless. Feeling that there was no soul power to absorb, the martial soul began to absorb the soul power from Bibi Han's body. Bibi Han said in extreme distress, "Mom, give me soul power, I don't have enough soul power." Bibi Dong was pleasantly surprised and came behind Bibi Han. He placed his hands behind his back and unleashed his soul power. She felt like Bibi Han's body was a bottomless pit, constantly sucking away the soul power she had released. Subsequently, 9 soul rings appeared, including 1 yellow, 2 purple, 5 black, and 1 red. All the soul masters in the awakening hall looked at the red soul ring with a shocked expression on their faces. Red, representing 100,000 years, is the most precious treasure in the soul master world, because those who own it must have 100,000 years of soul bones. It is impossible to calculate how precious it is. Just knowing that a millennium soul bone has been born will lead to a bloody storm. Soul power is constantly infused into 2 martial souls, and the 2 martial souls have also undergone changes. The black shell on the hammer martial soul kept cracking, and the blue-silver grass martial soul turned golden, with blue patterns appearing one after another. When the black shell is completely shattered, a golden hammer with purple electric current surrounds its entire body, and a golden blue-silver grass densely covered with blue stripes also emits the breath of life. Subsequently, 2 rays of light were released from the martial soul. People in the blue light range felt refreshed and some small wounds were healing, while those in the golden light range felt their whole body functions were sluggish. They have little knowledge and don't know what it is, but Bibi Dong is extremely clear because she also has a field. Bibi Han's appearance has also undergone a earth-shattering change, with his originally light blue short hair changing to long hair and waist length, his color changing to deep blue, and some of his hair turning golden. His ordinary little face has also become incredibly fair, tender, and delicate, and as he grows up, he must be an incredibly handsome man. The awakening is over, and the martial soul is retracted. You all go out, remember that except for Xiaohan's appearance, everything else. Bibi Dong didn't continue, but his killing intent was very obvious in his eyes. Obedience. Everyone quickly left, and the reputation of the iron-blooded female pope was very famous in the Soul Master world. The door closed, and Bibi Dong looked at Bibi's cold and tender little face. He pinched it with both hands, feeling extremely comfortable. "Mom, stop pinching." Bibi Han felt extremely uncomfortable. "Honor, release your two martial souls again to show your mother." "That's right, it feels like." "Han what are the names of these two martial souls?" Bibi Dong asked. Bibi Han frowned slightly and replied, "Blue Silver God, Haotian God Hammer. Blue Silver Grass, 1,000 years old grass, 10,000 years king, 100,000 years emperor, 1,000,000 years God. In the name of God, a divine aura." Okay. Bibi Dong said excitedly. "Honor, the Haotian divine hammer doesn't sound good. In the future, let's call it hammer or Haotian hammer. Upon hearing these words, Bibi Han nodded. The name Haotian divine hammer is indeed unpleasant to hear. As soon as the words fell, Bibi Dong took out a ball larger than the Awakening Hall soul power ball. "Honor, test your innate soul power." Bibi Han put his hand on it, and a rich light lit up. Level 20, innate full soul power level 20. Good son, my good son, my good son. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Mysterious Gift Pack, Golden Crocodile Douluo. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5 Mysterious Gift Pack, Golden Crocodile Douluo. The Papal Palace, Bibi Han was brought here by Bibi Dong. "Hi, Grandpa Chrysanthemum, Grandpa Ghost." Bibi Han greeted him, calling him so because they took care of him like elders when he grew up, and they were one generation older than Bibi Dong. In the original work, Tang said that the two title Douluo brought by the Pope were beaten to death and seriously injured by him. Major events, Chrysanthemum Ghost Douluo has always acted together. So the title Douluo, who persecuted Bibi Han's mother, is not theirs, so there shouldn't be any problem with calling it that. "Are you Xiao Han?" they asked for a moment. "Well, awaken your martial soul and become handsome," Bibi Han nodded and replied. Bibi Dong walked straight towards the papal throne and climbed up, causing a significant change in his overall aura. Iron-blooded female pope appears. A calm voice came from her mouth, "Elder Chrysanthemum, Elder Ghost, Xiaohan's martial soul has awakened, with innate full soul power at level 20. Bibi Dong told them these things without any hesitation, because in terms of the degree of belief, besides Bibi Han, the highest in the entire martial soul hall is only these two people, who also regard Bibi Han as a descendant. What? At level 20, isn't that the same as the young master? Watching Bibi Dong's gradually cold expression, they quickly stopped talking and didn't continue. Effort determines the lower limit, talent determines the upper limit. The innate soul power of the Soul Master realm determines the upper limit. Being born at level 7 is the most basic requirement for becoming a title Douluo, but you also need top-level martial souls, diligent cultivation, and sufficient resources. If it weren't for the top-level martial soul, there wouldn't be a big opportunity, the 89 soul Douluo in the sky. Born at level 8, even if you don't have a top-level martial soul, you can still become a title Douluo, but resources are indispensable, just like the elders in the Elder Hall who are title Douluo. Born at level 9, even though there are not enough resources, it can still become a title Douluo. If you are in the Martial Soul Hall, you still have the possibility of entering the Offering Hall. Congenital level 10, also known as Congenital Full Soul Power, is hailed as a once-in-a-century genius. As long as you don't neglect your cultivation and become a teacher like a pig, you can also be called a Douluo. Born at level 20, I can't even imagine it anymore. The only one, despite neglecting cultivation, still ranks first in soul power among peers, which is its terror. Chrysanthemum Ghost Douluo was both happy and deeply worried, because they were at odds with the Elder Hall. If the Elder Hall saw Bibi Han's terrifying talent and the origin of the Haotian sect, it would be feared. After meeting the two grandfathers of Jugue, Bibi Han left and returned to his own room. He couldn't wait because he heard a voice after awakening his martial soul. Hello crossover, I am releasing a beginner gift pack, and I will give you one gift pack every 10 levels in the future. Now you have 2 gift packages, do you want to open them? It's hard to say how cold it is there, but now of course he opens it. What will you get? Bibi Han has some expectations. 2 beams of light fell on Bibi Han's hand, and after looking at it, his eyes widened. For the first time in 6 years, he lost his composure and said, "Are you teasing me?" These 2 books are Complete Collection of Martial Soul Theory, Encyclopedia of Soul Beasts. What do I need it for? The library of the Martial Soul Hall has been abandoned by me, and these 2 things are useless. Can we make any changes? Asked Bibi Han. No, after opening the gift package, this system should also leave. In the future, when you reach level 10, the gift package will automatically open. There will be no future meeting. The sound disappeared, and Bibi Han was stunned. I should be the most shameful host of the Golden Finger. Forget it, I'm already born 20 years old. What's so sad about it? Xiao Han. A kind voice came from her mother. Mom, are you going to teach me how to cultivate? Mother smiled kindly and said, Mom wants to take you to meet someone. Who? Asked Bibi Han. A person who can best utilize your talents. Bibi Dong brought Bibi Han to a venue where an old man was waiting for them. The old man had white beard and hair, and he looked up to being over 80 years old last year. He was wearing a golden robe and silver embroidered with a ferocious crocodile. This outfit. It is a sacrifice, this martial soul. Bibi Han knows who he is now. He is the second worshipper in the Martial Soul Hall and the Sacrifice Hall. He is also the 98-level Golden Crocodile Douluo and the one who will be shattered by Tang Hao's 3 strikes in the future. The Golden Crocodile glanced at Bibi Dong and then looked at him. His pupils widened and he was surprised, saying, the innate full soul power is at level 20, it's really true. Later, the Golden Crocodile sarcastically said, Pope, just such a little ghost, with delicate skin and tender flesh, also wants to be my disciple, hee. Hearing these words made by Han even more displeased. This guy didn't take his mother seriously when he first appeared, and now he is mocking him even more. Bibi Han replied, an old man who is about to fall into the soil also wants to be my master. The Golden Crocodile did not have the same understanding as Bibi Han, but looked at Bibi Dong and said, Pope, that's how you teach children, so polite. When it comes to politeness, Jean Crocodile has a strong tone. Take a step forward from Bibi Han's station. My politeness only applies to some people, someone who is not polite to my mother and still wants me to be polite. He, a bit unique. Then the Golden Crocodile threw something in front of us, which was a piece of clothing. Bibi Han said, put it on and run until I say stop. Stop, otherwise you won't have the qualifications to learn from me. It's just a piece of clothing. Bibi Han walked forward and casually lifted his clothes, leaving them motionless. It's a bit heavy. Why, you can't even pick up a piece of clothing and still want to learn from me, Jean Crocodile sneered again. Humph, it's just a 70-pound piece of clothing. Bibi Han put it on and started running in circles. Shoulders and arms are under pressure, making it a great exercise equipment. Circle after circle, fatigue crazily invaded the brain, but Bibi Han's pace did not decrease. Bibi Han is extremely aware that his mother and the temple of worship are not at odds. This time, he must have been mocked and looked down upon for his own sake. I want them to know my excellence and slap them in the face. I don't know how many laps, but Bibi Han's footsteps were weak and his breathing was heavy. He glanced at her/him, looked at his mother's worried eyes, gave her a reassuring smile, and then looked at Jean Crocodile. Although Jean Crocodile appeared calm on the surface, a hint of surprise in his eyes still caught Bibi Han's eye, and he gave him a provocative smile. After this smile, I felt strong again and continued to accelerate until I had no strength and fell down. At this moment, a figure appeared and caught Bibi Han, who was Bibi Dong. 2 offerings. Bibi Dong's tone is extremely unfriendly. I'll take this apprentice, Crocodile said decisively. Bibi Han, regardless of the distance he ran or his willpower, completely met the standard, and he agreed. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Golden Crocodile Body Refining Technique First Order, Willpower. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This translator is experiencing an error, please try another translator. Chapter 7. Golden Crocodile Body Refining Method Second Order, Strength. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7 Golden Crocodile Body Refining Method Second Order, Strength. The next day, the Golden Crocodile brought Bibi Han to a small mountain that was 200 meters high. The mountain was extremely strange, with a tilt angle of about 30 degrees below 80 meters, and a tilt angle of about 45 degrees between 80 and 160 meters. The final section of the road had a tilt angle of about 60 degrees. The mountain road is sloping and very rough, with many stones of different sizes protruding from it. There are also stones around it, which are only a few meters high, and there seem to be some marks of impact on it. This is the training ground for this level, said Crocodile. Then 5 large iron balls appeared, each weighing 100 pounds, connected to an iron chain with an iron ring at the head of the chain. Looking at these 5 iron balls in this mountain, Bibi Han already knows what he wants to do. Put them on and let me climb the mountain. The end is at the top of the mountain. After speaking, let Bibi Han wear an extremely sturdy helmet. Old man, I suddenly have a question. Soul masters have power far beyond that of ordinary people. What if soul power is sealed or cultivation is abolished? The Golden Crocodile thought for a moment and said, that way, you will become a stronger ordinary person because your body has been nourished by soul power, and your bones are harder than ordinary people, so you will be stronger than ordinary people. Oh, soul power flows into the body and can be released by the body, transforming into a barrier. If used on hands and feet, it can achieve powerful power. If used to nourish the eyes, will there be electric eye pressure? Well, give it a try. Wearing an iron ring, Bibi Han ran towards the mountain with both hands, feet, and lower abdomen. Despite being surrounded by a large iron ball, his speed remained at 10 meters per second. When the iron ball also reached the mountain slope, its speed began to slow down. From the front view, it can be seen that Bibi Han is a big character, struggling to move forward with a hunched back. Step by step, the veins on my hands and neck burst out, and my face turned red. Every step I took was like taking a big breath from Bibi Han. Watching from afar, Golden Crocodile Douluo flicked his beard with his hand and said, not bad, he can climb up to 60 meters high on his first walk, with an iron ring of 5 meters. This kid actually climbed 55 meters with a 500-pound weight. This strength is definitely something for playing with a hammer in the future. But as they all came down, the Golden Crocodile thought of what would happen next and a look of heartache appeared on his face. Moving up again, no, it can be said that I have climbed, but I am losing strength faster than Bibi Han. Suddenly, Bibi Han felt a slip on his feet and couldn't control it. His eyes widened and he begged for help, help me, old man. But the echo was in vain, rolling down at an acceleration of over 4 meters per second compared to the cold. Due to the varying sizes of stones, the iron balls collide and roll in various directions, causing Bibi Han's body to roll in various positions. Additionally, because the iron ring is still on him, the iron balls roll inward and downward within a certain range, and these pulling forces are applied to him. Rolling on the mountain, the stones slide away from Bibi Han's skin, and the tearing force of the iron ball rolling makes life more difficult than death. Finally, rolling back to the ground, the iron ball bounced back against the surrounding stones and was about to collide with Bibi Han's body as it rolled back. In a critical moment, the Golden Crocodile blocked the iron ball casually. Otherwise, the impact of Bibi Han's downward rolling and the impact of the iron ball would double collide, causing the bones on his body to shatter. However, it did not stop Bibi Han, causing his body to collide with the iron ball. Ah! The scream was extremely mournful. At this moment, Bibi Han's whole body was extremely miserable, with wounds all over his body, some of which were visible in the bones. Blood flowed out, staining his clothes red. His body was torn and tattered, and his face had nothing to do with his helmet, but his eyes were bloodshot. At this moment, Bibi Han's gaze towards the golden crocodile was filled with hatred, and there was no longer any previous respect. Why don't you help me? The voice was weak, but the hatred inside was audible to everyone. This is a part of our family's physical training, polishing ourselves with injuries, Jean Crocodile said expressionlessly. High talent and fast cultivation speed alone are not true geniuses. True geniuses emerge from countless battles and bleeding will inevitably bear damage. These are essential. If you are afraid of pain, you can choose to give up. The golden crocodile waved and 2 healing soul saints appeared, which was already prepared. They will heal you. If you choose to give up, go get the soul ring. Then the golden crocodile left. Although the blue-silver god also has powerful healing abilities, without a soul ring, it is clearly not comparable to the healing abilities of the 2 soul saints at level 20. With their full treatment, in just 1 minute, Bibi Han's whole body improved and the blood in his eyes disappeared. Thank you very much, Uncle Soul Saint. After saying thank you, Bibi Han Ping sat on the ground for a long time without moving. Oh, I don't want everyone on the mainland to live and work in peace and contentment. I want to destroy 2 empires and the common vampires of the nobility. I even shrink back from the cultivation of just an old guy's family. How can I accomplish these things? Walk up the hill again and continue to move upwards. 500 meters away, there are 2 people standing there. One is the golden crocodile, and the other is Bibi Dong, a woman dressed in a luxurious black robe with gold patterns and a 9-curved purple gold crown on her head. As a mother, how could she possibly be absent from her son's upcoming training? At this moment, her eyes were moist, and the expression on her face was worried, heartbroken, and relieved. Golden Crocodile Douluo no longer has so many expressions on his face is full of relief. Pope, you have taught a good son. Jade is not polished, it is not a tool. If Xiao Han takes time, he will become a great tool. As the ancestor of the Golden Crocodile clan, he also experienced that he had to give up just once, but his father forced him to continue. Because the martial soul of the Golden Crocodile is the Golden Crocodile King, a super martial soul passed down through the Golden Crocodile family, those days can be said to be his darkest time. Afterwards, the younger members of the clan never awakened the martial soul of the Golden Crocodile King again, and could not bear this hardship. Therefore, no one came here for a long time, and the one who continued to challenge himself like Bibi Han was still the first. Then he left. A truly excellent child doesn't need supervision. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Training completed, obtain soul rings. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8 Training completed, obtain soul rings. Bibi Han is still climbing, reaching a height of 56 meters once again. The huge physical exertion makes him want to give up, but thinking about it, he can't. I want to be stronger and colder every time. Climb up for me. 60.7 60.8 60.9 70 Bibi Han rolled down again, and this time he fell to the bottom with the help of a sensitive attack-type soul saint who blocked the iron ball. He looked at Bibi Han with a hint of admiration in his eyes, unrelated to his strength, perseverance, and courage. After reaching a height of 75 meters, Bibi Han completely fainted and had no energy left. Still in the room filled with medicinal fragrance, Bibi Han woke up. Grandpa Ju, how long did I sleep? It's been an hour and a half. I'll go, it's been so long. Looking at this medicinal bath, Bibi Han felt a little. Grandpa Ju, isn't this medicinal bath different from what I used to soak in? It works even better. No, how could it be? said Ju Douluo quickly. Hem he he, Grandpa Ju, don't lie to me. I know very well that such an effective medicinal bath, if you had it, you would have soaked it for me a long time, and you still need it until now. There is only one truth, this is someone else's medicinal bath prescription, said Bibi Han with certainty. Hi, I still can't hide it from you. This is from the second offering and is a treasure of their family. You must not speak out. Ju Douluo's voice was a bit frightened. 2 offerings, 98 level peak Douluo, can completely defeat more than 10 of oneself. Well, I see. It turns out that the old guy also has this kind of personality, and I don't want him to know about this. Thinking about these things, the figure of the old man in his mind grew even taller. Before returning to the small mountain, the golden crocodile seemed to be waiting for him. Approaching him, Bibi Han respectfully bowed and said, Master. The golden crocodile's body shook and looked into Bibi Han's eyes. Xiaoju, that little guy told you to take a medicinal bath. Humph, is his skin itching? Bibi Han thought to himself speechlessly, little Ju, little guy, my name is Grandpa Ju, and you call me little guy. Aren't you calling me little guy? However, this guy seems to be twice as big as his great-grandfather Tang, and it seems that it's not wrong to call him that. No, I guessed it through the more powerful medicinal bath, Bibi Han replied. Humph, master, I haven't really agreed to you being my disciple yet. Bibi Han smiled and replied, yes, master. So, Bibi Han continued to practice. Absorbed the medicinal bath provided by the master, Bibi Han's body became stronger again. In the end, Bibi Han rushed up 79 meters. At night, Bibi Han returned to his room and used the soft soul power of the blue-silver god to constantly warm his eyes, while still practicing. The two did not conflict. A knocking sound spread on the door. Mom. Honor, how was your cultivation today? Is it still painful? Mom, you are indeed looking at me. Pain is pain, but it is incredibly useful, replied Bibi Han nonchalantly. Then he raised his fist and said, although I only practiced for a day, I feel like I can press myself down on the ground after completing the first training. My mother nodded and said, pain is essential on the path of the strong. Being injured or carrying injuries is extremely normal. In battle, you are not afraid of pain, so you can have a great advantage in the same level of combat power. I understand, thank you, Mom. The next day, Bibi Han returned to the small mountain to continue training. Yesterday I fell 8 times, today I will fall a few more times. Bibi Han put on an iron ring and rushed up. That's right, it's a charge, which can make him spend more energy and increase his difficulty. Sure enough, it won't work if we reach 60 meters charge and fall again. A week later, Bibi Han completely charged and climbed 80 meters. Besides relying on hard work, a part of the credit comes from taking a medicinal bath, which has a great effect. A month and a half later, Bibi Han rushed up 160 meters. After 4 months, Bibi Han finally finished his training at this level and rushed to the top of the mountain at once. Looking down at the mountain, his heart was filled with emotions. It's not easy. After enduring so much pain, I finally conquered this mountain. Okay. The golden crocodile suddenly appeared next to Bibi Han and said with satisfaction. Master, I understand your good intentions now, said Bibi Han gratefully. Oh, tell me what my intentions are. The first stage mainly exercises my willpower, not falling down until the last moment, and the pressure on my body is the foundation for the second stage of training. The second stage mainly exercises my endurance, so that I won't evade during battles due to fear of injury in the future. You should know how many young masters and ladies from big families face others with a slap in the face and hug their heads to avoid, or fear disfigurement and give up a fatal blow. The golden crocodile nodded. So, what should I do next? Increase the weight of the iron ball? No, your medicinal bath has finished quenching your body. If you continue to practice like this, the effect will not be significant. You should go and obtain the soul ring. I'm finally about to obtain the soul ring. After exercising for so long, my body is all for this. Bibi Han shook his fist excitedly. The next day, Bibi Han dressed neatly and prepared to depart. Taking him to obtain the soul ring is the mother Bibi Dong and Jugue Douluo. Jugue Douluo took him, and he was not surprised, but what he didn't expect was that his mother also came. Due to training reasons, Bibi Han and his mother Bibi Dong spent less time together, sometimes missing meals. Therefore, Bibi Dong pushed aside the affairs to accompany Bibi Han. A few luxurious carriages, one with a mother and son, one with a chrysanthemum ghost Douluo, and a few others. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Bold Attempts. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Chapter 9. Bold Attempts. Feeling the running speed, Bibi Han couldn't help but sigh that Douluo continent was indeed a bit behind. Although the one pulling the car was a 1,000-year-old chasing wind horse, a gentle soul beast that traveled thousands of miles a day, it was much worse than a plane from Blue Star, let alone a plane from Blue Star on the carriage. Bibi Han asked, "Mom, what kind of soul ring should I obtain?" Bibi Dong smiled kindly and then said, "What kind of soul rings do you plan to absorb? First, you need to know the characteristics of your martial soul." "Honor, do you know the characteristics of your martial soul?" Bibi Han released the blue-silver god's martial soul, and the atmosphere of the entire carriage became extremely comfortable. On both sides of the carriage, blue-silver grass kept breaking through the ground and swaying. "Life," said Bibi Han. Bibi Dong nodded and said, "Yes, whether in the desert or snow-capped mountains, it can grow with just a little soil and nutrients. It can be said that its characteristics are naturally suitable for treatment." Upon hearing these words, Bibi Han couldn't help but think of the original work. Tang San fought against Tang Liang, and it was said that there was blue-silver grass on the mountain peak, but not much. His birth mother Ayan traveled to the mainland as a doctor, treating the injured soul beasts and civilians. "I feel a little pain thinking of this, mother." The feeling of being titled Douluo was so keen, and Bibi Dong immediately said, "Honor, what's wrong, uncomfortable?" "No, I feel uncomfortable when I think of working hard for so long but only being a small assistant, hiding behind my teammates." "Silly child, blue-silver grass can not only be used for treatment, but also for control. How did Tang Hao Ayan evade the pursuit of the martial soul hall for so many years? It is precisely because of the domineering control of the blue-silver emperor that no trace has been left." Bibi Dong couldn't help but think, "Blue-silver emperor, you go through treatment control, I go through poison control, but your son has become my adopted son. This fate is really..." A few days later, a group of people walked into the starry forest. As soon as he entered here, Bibi Han felt like he was going home. The blue-silver realm automatically opened, and countless blue-silver grasses grew wildly. An incredibly comfortable atmosphere came in, and everyone's journey fatigue was completely eliminated. Ju Douluo said, "Oh no, I feel like I've never done before. All my functions are at their peak." The others also nodded. Bibi Dong said, "Xiao Han, what skills do you have in this field?" "I'm not quite sure, I only found that among them, my martial soul healing ability can become stronger. Is there any other possibility that needs to be slowly explored? However, in the forest, the soul power spent in the realm is halved, and the time to open the realm also becomes longer." Looking at the swaying blue-silver grass around, Bibi Dong said, "It should be because of the blue-silver grass around you. They have shared some of your soul power." The group divided into 3 routes, Bibi Han and Bibi Dong together, Ju Douluo and Gue Douluo, to capture soul beasts that have been around for 700 years. In no time, Chrysanthemum Douluo returned, carrying an animal-like soul beast. For absorbing animal soul beasts, Bibi Han is not surprised at all. Animals can absorb plants, and plants can also absorb animals. This is something that the martial soul hall has known for a long time, and our ancestors have boldly tried it before. Otherwise, those martial soul masters would absorb what kind of soul beasts? Chrysanthemum Douluo came over with a unicorn of the holy light, which was around 720 years old, and threw it to the ground. The unicorn was already on the brink of death, with a big hole in its neck. Honor, repair the sword, this is what you must do. The soul ring can only be obtained by the person who killed him, Bibi Dong said. Bibi Han picked up the dagger and said to himself, I'm sorry for the soul beast. His hand fell and the soul ring appeared. Mom, what should we do next? Mind traction, and then use the martial soul absorption. When Bibi Han used his mind to pull the soul ring and prepare to absorb it, he frowned slightly and gave up. Honor, what's wrong? My martial soul seems to be indicating that the lifespan of this soul ring is too low and it doesn't want to absorb it. Everyone's expressions were surprised. It's true that the martial soul is a part of their own body, but I've never heard of a martial soul being able to remind them. Xiao Han, did you hear me right? Bibi nodded to indicate that there was none. Under the papal crown, what should we do? Chrysanthemum Douluo asked. Keep searching until you find the most suitable one. Mom, aren't we going to indiscriminately kill many soul beasts? Bibi Dong said indifferently, soul beasts are born to enhance our soul master's strength. Their lives are not important, and in addition, these are only low-level soul beasts. As long as they are not high-level soul beasts, they are not considered to be indiscriminate killings. Bibi Han thought for a moment and said, Mom, I suddenly have an idea. I will tell the blue-silver grass the information and let them guide me to the most suitable soul beast. Bibi Dong's eyes lit up, it could still be like this. That's it. After being guided by the blue-silver grass, we quickly arrived at a place where there was a plant that was over 3 meters tall. This is soul vine, said Ju Douluo. Soul vine can absorb the soul power of entangled creatures to strengthen itself. When soul vine breaks through 10,000 years, it can also absorb the vitality of creatures. Absorbing vitality, only a soul vine that has been around for thousands of years can be considered a truly evil soul beast. Well, this really fits. The vine that absorbs soul power naturally has extremely strong resilience, which is completely suitable as a control-type soul ring, but this age is too high, Bibi Dong said with some regret. A height of over 3 meters represents over 3,000 years. This one exceeds the 3rd soul ring of an ordinary soul master and is not suitable for the 4th soul ring. Honor, let's switch to a plant with a lower age. No, Mom, it's just right. I feel like my martial soul is revealing a longing. And Mom, you should know about the suppression of martial souls, right? As the name suggests, martial soul suppression refers to the suppression of low-level martial souls by high-level martial souls of the same type. Just as in the original work, the blue-silver emperor emitted a faint breath, and the other ghost kings of the soul emperor could not move their vines. I believe that with the help of martial soul suppression and my physical strength, it can be achieved. Even Soul Lord cannot compare to me in terms of strength. My mother believes that I can. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Millennium 1 and 2 Rings. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Chapter 10 Millennium 1 and 2 Rings. Looking at Bibi Han's firm gaze, Bibi Dong said, okay, if there's any problem, Mom will stop it as soon as possible. Poor Soul Vine, upon the arrival of the group, felt a strong aura and shrank into a ball, but ultimately did not escape a disaster. Kill it and a purple soul ring appears. Blue Silver God, I feel your longing. Let's absorb it together. Traction, absorption begins. Suddenly, an incredibly hot energy flowed through Bibi Han's entire body, giving him a feeling of explosion and causing him to start expanding. Not good, the energy is too strong, Xiao Han can't bear it anymore. Ju Douluo immediately said. Just as Bibi Dong was about to interrupt, the the blue-silver god in Bibi Han's hand suddenly emitted a powerful force and was wildly swaying, as if saying that even the small soul vine dared to resist me. Bibi Han's swollen body also began to stabilize. Bibi Dong said, "Honor, stay awake." Both the body and consciousness were in a scorching ocean, and a blue light suddenly enveloped Bibi Han, helping him resist this ocean. A few hours later, Bibi Han's body was shrouded in a blue light and some blood mist. His silver teeth clenched tightly and he didn't dare to relax, fighting frantically. Everyone stared at Bibi Han without blinking, their brows furrowed. It's already the most critical moment, get through the cold, get through. Bibi Dong's face was full of worry. It is now impossible to interrupt because a part of the soul ring has already dissolved in Bibi Han's body. If he really interrupts, even if Bibi Han can survive, he is probably a disabled person who cannot practice for life. Ha! Everyone! The Pope's coronation was successful. Just wait for a moment, and Xiao Han will fully absorb it before waking up, said Zhu Doluo. After another period of time, the soul ring entered Bibi Han's body. Bibi Han finally absorbed the soul ring and opened his eyes. Bibi Han took a long breath. "Honor, how do you feel?" Bibi Dong asked. "I said there's no need to worry, Mom. Martial soul is a part of the body, how could it harm me?" I clenched my fist and said, "I feel so good now. The fatigue caused by absorbing soul rings is gone, and my whole body is full of strength." "What is your first soul skill?" Bibi Dong asked again. My first soul skill is called Devouring, which feeds back the opponent's soul power to me and restores 1% of my soul power every second." That's all, everyone thought. The devouring speed is determined by the soul power I possess. If I am a soul sect member, the restored soul power is 1% of the soul power during my soul sect period. If I am a soul king member, the restored soul power is 1% of the soul power of my soul king member. If my soul power is full, then these soul powers will be released to the outside world. The most important thing is that this soul skill does not require soul power consumption and can be considered passive. Bibi Han added with some pride. Everyone was extremely surprised. If that's the case, then Bibi Han would become a strong person in the future. Without hesitation, Bibi Han could annihilate 1,000,000 soldiers on his own without much physical exertion. A perpetual motion machine. Are divine-level martial souls so powerful? Bibi Dong was also extremely excited, but still one last step away. "Honor, unleash your soul skills and let me see how resilient your blue-silver grass is." Elder Chrysanthemum. Understood. The martial soul emerges, the soul ring appears, and the first ring is the purple ring. Blue-silver grass, go. The golden and blue-silver grass quickly entwined with Chrysanthemum Douluo. So fast. Even an ordinary soul lord would find it difficult to dodge at this speed. Chrysanthemum Douluo thought. But he didn't want to hide either. He mainly came to see the resilience of the blue-silver god. Blue-silver grass wrapped around his body, and Zhu Doluo felt his soul power constantly flowing, about 1% of that of a level 20 soul master. Subsequently, continuous force was applied, shattering the blue-silver grass around the body. Amazing, the resilience of this blue-silver grass, unless it is a great soul master specializing in power, such as a clan of power, will exhaust soul power among the great soul masters and become fish meat. Even the mid-level soul master needs to use great power. Grandpa Ju, you're absolutely right. If it's a fire attribute soul master, you can also burn my blue-silver grass, added Bibi Han. An awkward laugh rang out. Alright, Honor, let's find the next soul ring, Bibi Dong said. Mom, do you have any recommendations? In terms of theoretical knowledge, Bibi Dong is definitely at the top of the mainland, and he is the first person to overcome the backlash of twin martial souls. After thinking for a while, Bibi Dong said, Mom recommends that you absorb the holy wood in your next soul ring. Holy wood, also a plant-type soul beast, has only one effect on soul masters, which is to increase their soul power reserves. As for the generated soul skills, the soul skills of blue-silver grass should be blue-silver shield and face shield, which are of no use at all. He can directly use blue-silver grass as a shield without releasing soul skills. After thinking for a moment, although soul skills are useless, absorbing them will not only make you blue thick and quickly recover, but also allow you to benefit from the healing provided by the blue-silver god itself. Not bad. Okay, Mom. In the blue-silver field, Bibi Han has once again released news. What's wrong? Bibi Dong asked. Mom, there seems to be no sign of holy wood within my current control. Then let's find it, replied nonchalantly. Every section of the journey, Bibi Han will open a blue-silver field to inquire about the situation. Later discovered. Mom, find a suitable target over there. After walking for a while, I arrived at a sacred tree. Can Xiao Han absorb this holy wood, which has been as high as over 8,000 years? Bibi Han is used by the blue-silver god to face this sacred wood. After receiving a response from blue-silver god, he confidently replied, sure. Bibi Han looked at Bibi Dong again, seeking her answer. Seeing her worried gaze, Bibi Han nodded confidently. Bibi Dong waved his hand casually and broke through the soul power shield of Xingmu, beating him to the brink of death. In the same process, Bibi Han finally absorbed it. 1,000 years, 1 or 2 rings will appear. End of this chapter.